Welcome to Spectrum News at 10. I am Emedion James coming to you live from Uyo. Let's take a look at today's headlines. Vice President Shettima calls for immediate and united action to close Nigeria's widening skill gap. Governor Moino reiterates commitment to partner with Nigerian Air Force to enhance security in the state. Plus, Trump threatens a 35% tariff on Canadian goods. We will bring you details of these stories and more in just a moment. We, Many thanks for staying tuned. First in the news this morning is that the Vice President Kashim Shettima has called for immediate and united action to close Nigeria's widening skills gap, describing it as a national priority critical to economic transformation. This is just as the federal government has hinted at a proposal for the review of existing skills training centers across several ministries, departments, and agencies of the government to align their work and functions with national development goals. The vice president, who spoke during the sixth meeting of the National Council of Skills at the presidential villa, noted that the council's mandate is to develop a strategic workforce capable of meeting Nigeria's evolving economic demands. Chitima pointed out that the council has a mission to strategically position Nigeria's workforce to meet the demands of a rapid evolving economy. The vice president described the session as an open forum where positions were aired and important decisions were taken. He also emphasized that stakeholders' engagement, consensus building, and decisive leadership are essential to fixing Nigeria's skills and employment crises. Let's move now to the red chambers, where the Senate has called on the federal government to rethink its approach to the power sector by ending the indirect enrichment of private electricity distribution companies with public funds. The chairman, Senate Committee on the Environment, Senator Yunus Akintunde, disclosed this at the plenary. Speaking on the floor of the Senate, the lawmaker decried the current practice where government funds are being used to purchase electricity transformers for communities, only for the asset to be taken over by discos. The lawmaker described the trend as unsustainable and unjust, adding that the government must develop a structured subsidy regime that truly benefits ordinary Nigerians. The senator also drew attention to what he called a fundamental structural imbalance in Nigeria's power sector. According to him, while generation and distribution have been privatized, the government still retains control of the aging transmission infrastructure and out he described as underutilized and inadequate. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Senate has recommended 200 million naira compensation for the family of a 2-year-old toddler killed in Delta State by the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency (NDLEA). Reports say NDLEA on July 13, 2023, accidentally shot a toddler, Ivan Omohore, dead while raiding an alleged notorious drug joint in Delta State. The 2-year-old boy was shot with a stray bullet alongside his younger brother, Aaron Mosole, at their mother's shop at Okukwanam in Oshimili North Local Government Area. Reacting to the incident, the senator representing Delta North, Ned Walker, in July 2023 submitted a petition to the Senate on behalf of the bereaved family. However, presenting the Senate Committee on Ethics findings during yesterday's plenary, Senate Nada Imasu, who explained that all parties involved have been invited for questioning, noted that the NDLEA claimed to lack the financial capacity to sponsor Moncella's eye treatment abroad. Nada Imaso, however, recommended that the NDLEA should take full financial responsibility for Moncella's medical treatment, preferably abroad, to restore his sight, while the federal government, through presidential approval, should compensate the family with 200 million naira. In the meantime, the Senate has removed the suspended Kogi Central Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan as the chairman of the Senate Committee on Diaspora. The Red Chambers announced her removal yesterday during plenary. The suspended senator was immediately replaced by Senator Anyekan Basi, who represents Akwa Ibom Northeast Senatorial District. Reports say the change is believed to be connected to her unresolved suspension. Recall that Senator Akpoti-Uduaghan was appointed chair of the Diaspora and NGOs Committee on February 4, 2025, following her earlier removal as chair of the Senate Committee on Local Content. Away from that, the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) has alleged that corrupt politicians are now hiding stolen public funds in cryptocurrencies to evade probes. chairman of the commission, Ola Olukayode, during an AU anti-corruption day event in Ibadan. Represented by the commission's acting zonal director in its Ibadan office, Hajiya Hawa. The anti-graft agency board said that virtual assets were becoming a preferred channel for hiding wealth. Olukayode described virtual assets as digital monetary representations that could be traded or transferred, stressing that while not criminal, they become dangerous when used fraudulently. He also bemoaned Africans' growing loss to illicit financial flows, listing money laundering and digital fraud schemes as major threats to the continent's development. According to him, the EFCC had observed an alarming increase in politicians using cryptocurrency wallets to store honest men wealth and facilitate fraudulent investment activities. The EFCC board said that the agency was addressing the challenge with training and intelligence. On electoral matters, the Independent National Electoral Commission (INEC) has said that it will, in the next few days, deploy a new portal for the registration of new political parties to ensure a seamless process. The National Commissioner and Chairman of the Information and Voter Education Committee, Sam Olumakong, announced this in a statement in Abuja. The statement noted that the Commission will conclude the final testing of the portal next week before deployment. It added that this next step for associations that meet the requirement to proceed to the application stage will be announced. The Commission will also issue guidelines to facilitate the filings of applications under the PFRAS portal. Back here, Akwa Ibom State Governor Ability Command Yenogwa Air Vice Marshal Sunday Aneke on a courtesy visit to his office at the Government House Uyo. Governor now commends NAF for his strategic collaboration, knowledge and appreciated the cooperation and support of the Mobility Command to the state and also thanked the Chief of Air Staff, Air Marshal Hassan Abubakar, for his excellent, diligent and professional service to the country. The governor said the only missing link in the state was the lack of air assets, which according to him was in the works. He therefore appealed for the continued support of the force in clearing creeks and isolated islands of sea pirates and other criminals. Earlier in his address, Air Vice Marshal Aneke expressed gratitude to the governor for the support, contribution, and collaboration. The command also appreciated the government for the peace enjoyed from the state government. He said the government and the Air Force have remained strategic partners for years, which, according to him, has yielded immeasurable peace and stability, as well as economic growth for the state and its people. He expressed the commitment of NAV to continue working closely with the state government to ensure the safety of lives and property in the state. Moving now to Africa, where the head of Mali's Junta, General Assimi Goïta, has granted himself a 5-year presidential mandate, renewable as many times as necessary and without election, in a bill signed into law yesterday. The bill implemented recommendations of the National Dialogue consultations organized by the military regime in April and boycotted by political parties. The law approved by Goita allows him to lead the West African nation until at least 2030, despite the military government's initial pledge to return to civilian rule in March 2024. On the foreign scene, US President Donald Trump has said that he will impose a 35% tariff on Canadian goods starting on August 1st, even as the two countries were days away from a self-imposed deadline to reach a new trade deal. The announcement came in form of a letter published on Trump's social media platform, along with additional threats of blanket tariffs of 15% or 20% on most trade partners. Meanwhile, Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney said his government will continue to protect his country's workers and businesses as they head towards the new deadline. Still on the foreign scene, London and Paris have unveiled a pilot program to return to France some of the migrants arriving in the UK on small boats across the Channel as President Emmanuel Macron wrapped up his state visit. Prime Minister Keir Starmer called the deal, hampered out during the French leader's 3-day visit, as a groundbreaking and capable of stemming the record numbers of people who have embarked on a perilous journey so far this year. Although Starmer did not say how many people might be returned to France, media reports suggest it would initially total around 50 people a week. Still to come in the news. Enzo powers Super Falcons into 2024 WAFCON quarterfinals. Stay tuned for details of this in just a moment. Many thanks for staying tuned. On a business news, the Group Chief Executive Officer of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPC), Bayo Ojulari, has attributed the country's high oil production costs to massive security investment aimed at safeguarding crude oil pipelines in the Niger Delta region. Ojolari, who spoke in an interview on the sidelines of the Ninth Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries International Seminar in Vienna, said Nigeria's current cost of crude production has soared to as high as $30 per barrel, more than double the global average. Reports say this is 200% higher than the cost of producing the same crude in Saudi Arabia, which is $10 per barrel. The NNPC boss explained that the government had to overhaul crude infrastructure security, working closely with government agencies and local community civilization groups to safeguard critical oil infrastructure. Still in business, The president of the Dangote Group, Aliko Dangote, has doubted the possibility of the state-owned Port Harcourt, Warri, and Kaduna refineries functioning again. Dangote also stated that the refineries, which are under the management of the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, has gulped up to $18 billion, yet have refused to work. The businessman spoke while hosting members of the Global CEO Africa from Lagos Business School after a tour of the Dangote Petroleum Refinery in Lekki, Lagos. According to Dangote, the 650,000 capacity Dangote refinery, which he built after the government of late President Umar Yar'Adua aborted its acquisition of the government refineries, now has over 50% of its output dedicated to premium motor spirit, saying that the government refineries committed just 22% of their production to petrol. On a health news, the National Agency for the Control of AIDS, NACA, has announced plans to convene the sixth National Council of AIDS, which will focus on Nigeria's HIV response in the context of evolving global AIDS dynamics. The agency made this known in a statement signed by the chairman of the planning committee, Dr. Daniel Ndwegwe. The event to be held in Lagos with support from the Lagos State Agency for the Control of AIDS is themed Advancing National AIDS Sustainability Agenda in a Changing Global Policy on AIDS. The meeting is designed to bring together representatives from government ministries, civil society, development partners, and affected communities with discussions focusing on ensuring the long-term sustainability of HIV prevention, care, and treatment programs nationwide. Still in health, the Association of Community Pharmacists of Nigeria has declared its outright rejection of any legislative or administrative move to subsume the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria (PCN) under a proposed central regulatory authority for health facilities. The group warned that such a move would erode decades of professional autonomy, disrupt current pharmaceutical regulatory frameworks, and reverse the nation's recent global gains in drug safety and control. The association leadership, in a no-hold-bars interview with newsmen ahead of its 44th annual international conference, selected for July 22nd to 27 in Oka, Anambra State, expressed deep reservation over a proposed National Health Facility Regulatory Authority bill currently before the National Assembly. They argued that the major plan embedded in the bill would amount to institutional sabotage, considering the PCN's expanded mandate from under the Pharmacy Council of Nigeria Establishment Act of 2022. We move now to sports where substitute Chinwendu Iheanacho scored the winning goal as the Super Falcons secured a place in the quarterfinals of the 2024 Women's African Cup of Nations following a 1-0 win over Botswana. Both teams battled for control in the opening exchange, with the Super Falcons 18 possession. Super Falcons head coach Justine Madugu made three substitutions after the break, with Esther Okoronkwo, Christian Uchebi, and Iheanacho replacing Asisat Oshoala, Pena, and Babajide. Nigeria struggled to break down the Maras defense with Jennifer Echegini coming close 12 minutes from time. The breakthrough came on the dot of 90 minutes with Iheanacho sliding home Okoronkwo's cross. Still in sport, Nigeria Super Eagles have dropped from 43rd to 44th position in the latest FIFA World Ranking. The rankings updated by FIFA following over 200 international matches played in recent months, including FIFA World Cup qualifiers and regional tournaments, placed Nigeria as the fifth highest ranked team in Africa. The top four teams on the continent remain Morocco 12th, Senegal 18th, Egypt 34 and Algeria 36. Despite the drop, Nigeria continues to rank ahead of long-standing regional rivals Ghana and South Africa, who occupy 76 and 56 positions globally, respectively. Ivory Coast, who recently overtook Nigeria in a previous ranking, now set just below the Super Eagles after dropping 4 places. On entertainment news, popular Nollywood actress and producer Azizat Shoro has narrated how a vocal cord became permanently damaged. The actress, who was previously known with a different voice on screen, explained that the incident that permanently took her voice cord while on a movie set. Azizat explained that she was forced to scream under extreme emotional strain when she heard the actress Surutu lost her child on the very day filming was set to start. Recounting the ordeal, the actress revealed that she tried various means, including medical and spiritual intervention, to restore her voice. She explained that her voice was no longer the same when it eventually returned, but now speaks with a raspy tone that has become her new signature sound. And that's all we have for you at this hour. Do ensure to follow us on social media, subscribe to our YouTube channel, all of which can find on our website at spectrumtvlive.ng. I am Emma John James, and you've been watching Spectrum News at 10. Do enjoy the rest of the day. Bye for now.
Spectrum TV, broadening your horizon.